Good afternoon, YouTube. So last weekend I had a spoke break on my rear wheel here right by the valve stem. About 3 years ago I had one of the spoke nipples break off right under the head. This time though it was the spoke and it broke up inside right where it threads into the nipple. Unfortunately that means I've got to take the tire off and then also remove the rim tape from a section in here so I can get the spoke nipple out. Hopefully I can get the broken piece of spoke out. So I have to take off the disc brake rotor too because it's the outside spoke. Now this was the Schwalbe Marathon Mondial tire that I patched a couple of years ago. It had a puncture in the sidewall, I think right in this area. Now I was planning on getting rid of this tire at the end of this year, so I was going to try to get another couple months out of it. If we come over here and look at the tread, you can see it's getting pretty well worn down, so they're starting to get more and more cracks. These showed up in the last year, and it's just been getting progressively worse. Yeah, there's like one sealant leak right along here, and yeah, there's I think some little bit of seepage there along the sidewall, just random little spots. I'm getting leaks. This tire here is actually 8 calendar years old. I purchased this in 2012. It was run for about 5,000 miles, and then I had the puncture, took it off for a few thousand miles, and then just put this back on a couple of years ago. So I think what I'm going to do, since I have to take this tire off, I'm going to swap it out now, put a new tire on the back. So you can see this is the front tire, and this one's getting quite a few leaks along the sidewall. I don't think it's serious, but if you look at the tread on this tire, it's pretty well worn down. So I think I messed up a little bit. I didn't have my tire plan fleshed out, and this tire was on the back, and I put the patched tire originally on the front, and I ran it that way for about a year. So this one was on the back about 4 years instead of 3 years, and as a result the tread got worn way down. And then I came up with my tire rotation plan, and I wish I would have moved this tire to the front about a year earlier, because what I wanted to do was run this tire for like another couple of years. Now if I put a new tire on the back, that means this tire's got to run about 3 more years on the front, which I think is pushing it a little too much. It looks like it's getting fairly well worn out. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put another new tire on the front, and then instead of my original plan of taking the rear tire, moving it to the front, and then getting rid of the front tire every 3 years, I'm going to just take the front and the rear, run them for 3 years, and then I'll swap the front to the back and the back to the front, run it for another 3 years, and then get rid of both and then replace both. And I've got 2 new 700 by 40C tires ready to go. And that was the other deciding factor, is I've got actually 4 tires. I think I bought this tire and one other one. So I'd purchased 2 tires, I think, when I picked up this one. And then I purchased an extra one. And then I bought 2 more. So I've got 4 tires. And I actually need to start wearing those tires out. So I've got 2 older tires and then 2 newer ones. Okay, YouTube, we got the tire off. I really like this orange seal sealant. It just wipes right off. It's amazing how easy it is to clean up. I just took the tire off, hosed it down with a hose, and then wiped this off with a rag, and it's, there's a little bit of stuff stuck to it, but it's ready to go. I'll just clean up around here, so I'm going to have to put a piece of tape, I guess, in there. But I got the old nipple out, and unfortunately the spoke threads are stuck inside there. I was hoping it would maybe stick out the other end so I could screw it out, but there's no way to get that out of there, so I need a new nipple. So I've got my drawer of nipples that I've taken off of old wheels. Went through and found one that's looks like the same length. So we got that one. Here's the old spoke. Now I don't have any spare black ones of the proper length, but I've got silver ones. I think these are DT Swiss from probably the 1970s. So I'm thinking what I might do on these wheels ultimately is buy a new set of spokes, the short and the long ones, new set of spoke nipples, and then just relace them if I have any more breakage on these, because this is now the second one. The first one, it broke the head of the spoke nipple off, and this second one is broke off in here. I've never had spokes break like that. Whenever I've had breaks, they're right down at the 90-degree bend there. I'm not certain what's going on with these, but if I have any more breakage, I think I'm going to just replace these. The nice thing about stands is they have a nice chart. They give you the rim and the hub, and they give you all the spoke lengths that they use, 2-cross and 3-cross. So this is a 3-cross wheel, and I just happen to have a 295mm spoke. Yeah, I had to take the disc brake rotor off of there. So you can see there I can go through the cassette. There we go, and out. So luckily this was one of the outside spokes, so you only have to take off the brake rotor. And let's see, these are 3-cross. There's 1, 2, and 3. Get over like that. Okay, mounted the rim up in my spin doctor truing stand here. I think that's good enough. I just had to go and pull this one spoke tight. And it took a couple of passes at it, and I think we're good enough. Okay, now we got to get the valve core back in here. So the best way to do that, I guess, is cut a small X in the tape, and then get the jam nut off of there. So that goes down like that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, these wheels came already set up. These are the Stan's Arch EX rims. So there's 700C rim, or 29er. I've had a few people ask about the dimensions on these, so I figured I'd show you there. Yeah, so roughly 24.5mm on the outside, and then they're 21mm inside there. Okay, we got the tire mounted up last night. I did have to use a tire iron over a small portion of the tire to get it over the bead. Like I said, this was a brand new tire, never been mounted before. The first bead went on okay, just by hand, and then the second one I did need some tire irons. So one of the problems I ran into was I had taken this tire out of the box several years ago, and I think what happens is when it's out of the box, the tire opens up because it's not held tightly in the box, where they kind of fold the tire together. And so I had a really hard time getting the second bead to stay in the rim. It kept wanting to pop out. This morning I took the valve core out of the valve stem and used the compressor, popped the tire on, and I dumped in my sealant, and it sealed up pretty quick. A little bit of leakage there. Yeah, I think this was the side that had a little bit going. I think this one's okay here. Yeah, and then just to show you here, this is the old tire I took off. One thing I really noticed with this new tire, the sidewalls are really stiff when you first put the tire on, and this one is like super flexible. I think it takes a few rides running around 30 psi to get the sidewalls to flex and break them in a little bit. But here you can see the orange seal. You can see it's almost made an inner tube of the tire. Like right here, it actually pulled the sealant off of the rim, and it kept it stuck to the tire there. And you can see how this tire was cracking along the tread here. So this is where it seems to get the most cracks right there. You can see those cracks forming along there, and then on the inside you get all the sealant building up. And this is where it was leaking. There would be leaks right out of the cracks along the tread, and there would be a little bit of sealant seeping out. A little bit of tread left, but I think that's it. Yeah, so the patch I put in there held up just fine. No peeling or anything. I think the patch was successful. I got another couple of years of use out of this tire. Anyway, yeah, we'll get this back on the bike, and assuming no problems, this will probably be the end of this video. So yeah, if you have any questions or comments about running these Marathon Mondial tires tubeless, go ahead and post up in the comment section below. And as always, thanks for watching.